Hi, my name is Sean Arsenault, and I will be talking about youth empowerment theory and how it relates to my topic of successful reintegration of Black and Brown students into their base school after the alternative placement. Right, so youth empowerment theory was developed by Zimmerman in 1995, and it is a strengths-based framework that discusses that youth development is a process, right? Youth development takes time. In one of the core concepts that empowerment is not a personality trait, but a developmental process that shapes and affirms the youth's capacity to act. So, what can we do to help these young people gain the skills? What can we do to help them gain confidence and opportunities to influence their lives in a positive way? So, part of youth empowerment theory, there are three interconnected components. We have the interpersonal, interactional, and we have the behavioral. So, interpersonal are self perceptions. So, how do students see themselves? What does their confidence look like? What is their motivation to achieve their goals? Do they have the motivation to achieve their goals, right? Next is the interactional. So understanding the social and capital resources, understand the systems that they are in. So in how they can navigate themselves through those institutions. So for example, at the alternative school, do they understand the resource that they have, the power that they have? What do they understand of their role and their placement as far as an individual in the alternative placement setting? And then we have behavioral. What kind of actions do they have? What do they do to influence their environment around them? Are they acting through advocacy? Do they have the proper leadership skills? What kind of decisions are they making? Are they making to create a better environment for themselves? So why does youth empowerment theory matter for Black and Brown youth? It emphasizes that you need adult allies. As a youth, you need people who are older than you or who have experienced the same thing that you have to help guide you. But the key is that they have to be a positive and they have to be a critical mentor for that person. That means they have to be able to that the student has to be able to see that adult as a safe space, right? They have to be able to trust that adult. They have to know that they are free of judgment. They are free of punishment if they come to that person knowing that they could get the information that they need, they can get the resources that they need. They just need to be in a safe environment. And then what kind of opportunities do they have to challenge the systems in their lives? What kinds of power can they assert within that system? And do they have the kind of power to assert? Right, next. So applying the youth empowerment theory to school reintegration, just like we talked about positive and safe environments. So we need to make sure that they're in a positive school climate. Is the culture at that school affirming to who they are? Does that school increase the belonging of that student? Are they doing things to make sure that students are feeling like they belong? And same thing like with the adult allies. Are we ensuring that the students feel like the relationships with the adults are good enough and they are trusted and that they can go to them if they need? And then what kind of supports do they have? What kind of supports are the base school giving these students once they come back on their campus? Are we making sure that we're having transition meetings? Are we having restorative conversations? Or are we just labeling our students? Are we not giving them a voice? Are we not allowing them to have any agency or power within their own self? How does this apply for research? So for my research specifically, I'm thinking about doing a qualitative study where I would get interviews and put on focus groups for students who have been in the alternative school. That way I can get their youth voice and their experience, get their perceptions of what it was like at the school and if they even felt empowered. And then quantitative measures. That could be school climate surveys, belonging assessments, self-efficacy scales, things that will quantify and code those experiences for them. So limitations. There is a limitation with this theory. We have power. Not all schools or places or regions will allow kids to have that kind of power. Our policies are also very rigid. Zero tolerance policy doesn't allow for any room for these kids to have power. right? Research gap. There is a huge research gap in youth empowerment theory, which is why a lot of the articles that I found and were used were from when it was first was based off foundational research, because it's just that piece is just so critical, and there's just limited research on that. Here's a concept.